actually got the most hilariously insane game yet. Imagine Austin Powers with tits and stupid jokes, as well as stupid gameplay elements. You have got No One Lives Forever.
You know, at first this idea sounds blatantly stupid, and that's because it is. I mean, you've got the idea of Austin Powers being told in the shoes of a woman in a first-person shooter and stealth game. Now, this is one of the lesser-known overrated games, and this review is about to tell you why.
Well, it's called the Operative, No One Lives Forever. And I just happened to pick this up on the internet, and then I remember it like this silly game that, yes, I did used to play some first-person shooters occasionally until this game. Then it just drove me away completely from any kind of game that's played in a first-person perspective, with the exception of Minecraft.
We begin our story, oddly of course, in the early fall of 1967 in Siberia, and it already appears to be going through a very tough blizzard pretty early at this time of year. I know Siberia is known for being so cold, but for this early on in the year? At least they got that right with Parasite Eve. Yeah, the opening sequence starts off with some guy with a very out-of-date mustache and an eye patch choking an agent to death with his bare bionic arms. And he has a tradition to leave roses by the side of the dead bodies of his victims. You know, just like the pencil-stabbing villain from that terrible comic book movie Daredevil. Here we actually take control of a female agent who's roughly around my age, by Catherine Kate Archer. Or we'll just call her Kate for the time being. Whoa, that is actually the loudest rotating sign I've ever seen. I mean, now you actually are able to report the briefing room until...
Access prohibited. You do not have clearance for this area.
Oh, come on! Don't play bullshit with me! I work here! I'm a top secret agent! Oh, it just happens to be the room next door! Okay, so now we actually have our first meeting, and this is actually I actually find this pretty interesting because they actually have some role-playing elements regarding multiple choices in a conversation on how the situation will turn out, that is.
I'm sorry if I kept you waiting. It won't happen again.
I seem to recall hearing that before. If it isn't the
By the way, this pops up into multiple parts of the game, and sometimes it'll determine the outcome of your mission. Yes, and so the mission is actually to track down a terrorist organization called HARM. What an uncreative name! And what does HARM stand for? Oh, that's right, they don't tell you until much later on in the game. And here is the part where you will find the stupidest part of the game. The gadgets that you use for spy operations. I mean, they include just very stupid stuff, including toxic perfumes, lipstick bombs, and of course, a robot poodle, which you'll get much later on in the game.
Greetings, everyone! I'm Dr. Lunatic! I'm gonna show you how to actually make pheromones in a robot poodle that can fool any guide dog! First, you will need some samples that I've gathered, these valuable samples and fluid that I collected through morgue at the zoo. Then I have some dog urine, the dog piss that I've extracted at the pound, and I've sterilized it. This will create a pheromone process to actually trick animals that a robot is a little dog without even having any visuals. Now first, I am going to place this in a nice, in a nice mixture right here, and then put it into this lead beacon. A little bit more. Get a little bit more. And now you take this sterling, put this urine in it to give them a more masking disguise. And next we will have to have a hair sample from an actual dog, like Angel Dog that I picked up, that I now have to actually extract some body hair from it. Stay here, easy girl. Yes, I have extracted the body hair and put them into this flask here. And yes, open up the flask. Yes. And now we shall take a sample from you. Yes, put it in the flask. Take it from the lab specimen. And here, your use is done now. Now get down. You will have a pheromone just like a real dog. You shall add the mixture to the flask from earlier. Shake it out real good, and now you put it on this heater. This heater here, and you will bring it to a boil. And now that he's up, you will put a little bit more here. You will actually add some water to it. Add some water to the mixture with the same drop here. And then, careful not to spill it on put it on the drop. Now, it's a great, then you can use it as a recharge juice. Put it in the robot dog. Use it to emit pheromones to trick other dogs. I've created the perfect robotic disguise of all time.
The barrette can also be used as a weapon by hitting the next function key. When you slash an adversary, the pressure on the blade releases a small amount of toxin into his bloodstream. Quite deadly.
I mean, if there's poison in that barrette, wouldn't it be rather dangerous to wear it in her hair every now and then? Because don't you have to worry about it poking at the scalp and killing you from within?
Yes, a barrette can be used as a weapon. Allow me to test it out on myself. Look at the blade. Now watch this as it slices through people. This is the worst idea for a weapon ever.
Besides, using this as a weapon is fucking useless. I mean, it rarely hits the enemy before they start attacking you or sounding the alarm. So why do they include this gameplay feature? Finally, you're on your first mission, which is, get this, protect the American ambassador to West Germany from being assassinated.
How dare you threaten me?
And by the way, what is the ambassador doing on vacation in Morocco anyway? And why doesn't he have bodyguards when he simply knows that assassins just keep coming out to kill him? Oh, and this is the best part. The ambassador happens to be so nearsighted they cannot even make out what's exactly in front of him. And he can't even see the assassins run up within 3 feet of him trying to shoot him. Even when I go on the lower level, he cannot even recognize that I'm pointing a gun right at his face. I mean, if he can't recognize that, wouldn't he be considered legally blind? If so, then why was he appointed as an ambassador? And guess what? These assassins always come out from the exact same openings, even when they see their dead comrades on the ground. They know aren't they supposed to know that something's up? And you have to constantly put up with him complaining about his dime falling out of his pocket.
Let's lock down 10 minutes.
There must be a hole in my pocket. Not again.
On your
Where
left,
are
coming
you,
around the
you
building.
pesky little dime? I'd
Watch
better
for him to
find it
pass in
quickly
front of
before
my
the
window.
thieves swoop in like vultures.
Shut up! It's just a dime. In fact, phone calls didn't even cost 10 cents at the time. And especially long distance calls on payphones.
This guy is too much.
Oh, and get this. He just continues to bitch and complain and continue to be obnoxious even on his way home to the airport. He gets so arrogant that he decides to jump out of the cab and actually walk to the airport, not even realizing the danger that people are trying to kill him. And guess what? He ends up getting killed by Volkov anyway.
I thought this was supposed to be a civilized country.
Hey, illegally blind fat ass! Look what I have!
So after protecting this idiot up until he meets his demise at the hands of Volkov, you find out that a bunch of goons are following after you. And then you're actually supposed to rendezvous with one of our Unity mentors, Bruno. Yes, he was being the shot caller the entire time. Since, you know, the ambassador was too distracting for me to concentrate. Yeah, Bruno doesn't last long either. Cause he's shot right after meeting up with me.
After him.
This is all my fault. If you hadn't been worrying about me, he never would have got the drop on you.
Silly girl. Worrying about you is all I have left.
Don't say that.
Why do we need to get all emotional, Gabe? We barely know the guy! Who is this Bruno? Why should we feel sorry for him? And just immediately after that, they plant bombs to actually detonate the hotel, where Bruno was shot at.
Yes, sir. I mean, no, sir. I mean, yes to the first part and no to the second part, sir.
They have to actually disarm them while at the same time protecting civilians. And also in this game, there's this reoccurring character. There's this reoccurring drunk character who's in a striped green suit drinking a martini. We actually later find out that this guy's the director of harm. And this guy just shows up randomly everywhere I happen to go on a mission. Must he be a spy? Oh, and apparently he must be getting himself so drunk that he must also be on some other cocktail of drugs as well that's giving him narcolepsy. I mean, this isn't even the standard for normal alcohol poisoning. This is fucking narcolepsy right here.
I need more beer.
Oh, and you're not supposed to shoot any civilians, even if it happens to be an animal. Oh, come on! That was a wild monkey! How does that count as a civilian casualty? I just happened to smack it on the back of its head and it died just like that. I have like a bionic arm that's completely capable of snapping someone else's spinal cord in half. But it's not long until you catch up with the harm agents that you actually are demanding where Volkov is, and you're willing to do anything, including torture, which is shown off screen. Because it was apparently more brutal than what was going on at Abu Ghraib prison. And then you actually have to now meet this Dr. Schenker in Berlin. And the people there are just completely stoic and comical despite how boring communist East Germany was. Yeah, especially if you're trying to get the letters from one of the residents here, who happens to be a spy.
Go away. Nobody's home.
Oh wait, a phone call happens to be waiting for me at a random phone booth. Yeah, whoever was calling must have been spying on me this entire time, because it happened to have called the one phone booth expecting a certain person to pick it up. Now this is part where stealth is useful but not required, and thank God, because it's near suicide if you try to barge in, which is nearly impossible to do, despite the irritating alarm that goes off easily.
Here, take this visitor ID card. It identifies you as the Commandant's niece, Hannah. It will get you past the front desk, then you're on your own.
If I have the ID to get past the front desk, then why the fuck do they sound the alarm if they see me coming through? Okay, either way, you get Dr. Schenker, who is a quantum physicist specializing in nuclear explosions or something like that. But you get him out of here, and they talk about aboard the very shagademic plane. Yeah, which happens to be pretty advanced and luxurious for 1967. I mean, most airplanes you see now do not even have the luxuries of that you see here. And not even a plane docking system connecting one plane to another, traveling at near supersonic speeds, allowing bad guys from the other plane to jump on board to my commercial flight and take it over. Yeah, and how surprising it is to get guns past airport security. I know this is the 60s and way before these terrorist attacks, but guns? That's gotta be a fundamental security measure, isn't it? So now you actually get aboard the cockpit. I don't know how she's able to get through there, but there's a Scottish guard named Magnus Armstrong. Get it? Because he has big biceps. So he's called Armstrong. Yeah, and knocks her out with one hit.
If she wakes up, she can fend for herself. If she dies, then she ain't really a Scot, so I won't feel bad.
Yes, he's basically our fat bastard of this game.
Baby, it's what's for dinner!
Except he's muscular instead of morbidly obese.
Listen to you crying like a wee girl.
And I was fortunate enough to get my hands on the PC version because the PS2 version, which is the platform that I first got this piece of shit of a game on, has these flashback missions from 9 years ago when she was a cat burglar. And they suck! They are complete stealth missions that you have to go around stealing common items without even being detected. And yet these idiot people see me going in broad daylight, suspecting me to be a robber, and they just call for help. Yeah, because you know robbers go out mugging people in broad daylight, don't they? These side missions, by the way, happen every time Armstrong knocks you out. And then they end as soon as you regain consciousness. And every time you regain consciousness, there's always a disaster about to strike. And in the first case, the airplane is going down, and you're just rushing to find parachutes aboard. Yet you jump out of the airplane with no parachute. Suicide attempt! You actually have to go on this skydiving mission, chasing a guy to steal his parachute. And you're even supposed to target yourself precisely above him, falling down at Mach 1 without any parachute or safety gear. And look, even Dr. Schenker's fallen out of the plane through his seat. God, he's doomed. It was nice knowing you, random nuclear scientist. And so, of course, if you succeed, you land safely and luckily until you actually have to rendezvous in Hamburg through this psychedelic nightclub whose name I cannot pronounce with this new nudity agent called Agent Goodman, who happens to be Clark Kent in 1960s drag. Only one problem, the nightclub is full for tonight.
I want to speak to someone in charge.
As I said, everyone is busy. Now go away or I will call the police.
Because obviously this nightclub has such popular music, people just flock to it and fill it up every single night. And it's weird because when you get in, there's barely anyone there!
This club is super groovy, don't you think so?
How come everyone be busy? They're just sitting on their asses, and one guy in the manager's office just happens to be taking a nap as I take an intelligence item. Oh, and speaking of the music, it sucks balls!
You will excuse me. This is all I have time for this evening.
I mean, this is where one of our side antagonists, Inga Wagner, comes in, and she's actually a terrible opera singer. My god, why would people flock to see music like this? I mean, is this an open mic night where tone-deaf Nile rejects can just jump on stage and sing whatever the hell they want? And who got paid to design her? I mean, she has the absolute worst clown makeup along with the worst hairstyle. I mean, just look at these pigtails. They look like they have flexible wire running through those braids. And possibly the worst hairstyle ever conceived, and that's including the Snooki ponytail.
Yeah, it looks like she had a really bad hairstylist to mimic Princess Leia's hair buns. I mean, who's gonna really end up watching a tone-deaf, obese opera singer with pigtails that look like ram horns?
I thought the music was terrible.
And by the way, she happens to actually try to catch me by shooting a poison dart at me as soon as I meet Agent Goodman, who appears to be suffering from a rare form of lockjaw syndrome where he constantly smiles.
Can I borrow a dime? I want to call my mom and tell her I just met the girl of my dreams.
I gave my last dime to a worthwhile charity.
Ouch.
Hey there, sorry, don't mind. Hey there, sorry, I don't mind the computer graphics. My mouth, I have a severe case of lockjaw and can't close my mouth all the way very well.
Yeah, but it's not long until the guys actually invade the club and you actually have to fight them. Oh yeah, when you try to meet Agent Goodman, you have to keep a low profile, otherwise you fail. What the hell? Something I forgot to mention, this game is full of bugs where the attack button will be accidentally pressed at random times. And that's a serious concern when you talk about stealth missions. Come on, I wasn't even attacking! How did I blow my cover from just swinging my arms simply? It could have been a dance!
He will if you tell him my code name.
I don't know your code name.
Bold Eagle.
Good God.
Yeah, so you make your way out of the club and onto this boat ride, which you now have to actually meet Goodman again at the docks, trying to board Harm's cargo ship. And then when you go to the harbor, oh my god! I didn't even press the shoot button! And now I'm being attacked! This is my spawning point! I haven't even started this level yet! Now I'm being gunned down! Yeah, so after all that, you actually have to set more bombs to actually blow up the warehouse and then board the cargo ship, which you actually, get this, taking pictures of barrels filled with toxic chemicals that Harm is gonna use for chemical weapons in terrorist bombings. Oh, and guess what? Kate then gets knocked unconscious by Armstrong. And then as she regains consciousness, Goodman has bombed the ship and the cargo ship's about to sink.
Abandon ship! Did he say ship or sheep? Ship, I think.
And now this entire segment is trying to find a way off the ship and gaining your weapons back, because even then, sailors